So this is gonna be impromptu. I must say, this is an interesting book.
Uh-huh.
I haven't read all of it. Yeah, I think I'm somewhere in the middle. And it's a book that stands on its own. And this book causes people to ask many questions. And so I hope in our conversation today, we can just ask some questions so we know more about the book.
Uh-huh.
By the way, the book we're referring to is The Terrible Truth About the Truth, a story of a Tutsi Rwandan genocide survivor. It's a loaded book. It's an amazing book.
Oh, don't forget the subtitles, please.
Subtitles. Yes, when home doesn't feel like home and when abroad feels far from home. Why is the subtitle so important to you?
Oh, because those are actually, when you will finish reading the book, you will know that everything is reflected in those subtitles.
Wow.
So those subtitles also are parts, the name of the parts of my book, because my book has part 1 and part 2. So part 1 is called When Home Doesn't Feel Like Home. And part 2 is called When Abroad Feels Far From Home.
Okay, makes sense now.
Yes.
Well, this is really important.
Important.
All right, and then at the end, we'll share where people can get the book and all the important things you need to know.
Of course.
But for now, can you tell the listeners your personal journey? What inspired you to write this book?
Wow. Thank you for starting with a hard question.
Yeah, we'll do the hard ones and then we move to the easy bits.
Oh, wow. Yeah. What inspired me, my life journey, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's because I wasn't inspired by one aspect of my life. It's many aspects of my life. So, yeah, for example, starting with my love story itself. It could have made a book
On its own.
Yeah,
It's a full story, true.
Yeah. I remember even before the genocide, people who knew us, who knew what we went through, were always asking us, when are you going to write your book? When are you going to write your story? They didn't ask if we were going to write it.
But when?
They just wanted to know when. And that was before the genocide.
Wow.
And now add the genocide.
Yeah.
There is a way I expressed it on my book cover.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I said bumpy and nearly deadly journeys. So, yeah, bumpy and nearly deadly journeys.
Right.
So, and now comes after the genocide, after the end of the genocide, and when we thought our problems had ended, without knowing that we were starting another episode of
problems and challenges.
So the problems that ended making us leave our beloved country. So it was serious. It was serious. So, and now we leave our country. And I said the last chapter of the first part, it is called A One-Way Trip.
Wow. No turning back? It's not a round trip.
No, not a round trip. So a one-way trip to Canada.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And that is when we said, okay, phew. Now we are leaving everything behind us.
And moving forward.
And we are moving forward. We are landing in a democratic country. Thank God.
Yeah.
But what happened?
It also has its own democratic problem.
Now the chapter of feeling far from home
begins.
Yeah. So it's not, and when I say far from home, I'm not talking about the distance. I'm talking about more than that. So
The experience.
you can guess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Interesting. Well, this is already interesting, and I'm very curious. You ended up as the people were expecting. Maybe one day you're gonna share your story. They knew it's not a matter of if, but when.
When?
When are you going to share the story?
Yeah.
So one day you decided to actually share the story in this book.
Yeah. So all that journey,
Yeah.
it's inspired.
So that's what motivated.
Inspiring. Yeah. There was a lot.
A lot. So I'm curious.
I am not sure what motivated me or inspired me, because there is a lot.
There's a lot, of course, yeah. You know, when you speak of inspiration, it doesn't happen in one day, right? It takes time, different things.
Time.
But take me back in time to the date you decided, I'm going to write this book. When was that, and what pushed you to do that?
Yeah, it's a good question, because the idea of writing a book started a long time ago.
Wow.
It started, as I said, before the genocide.
Wow.
But as the days went and the years went,
Yeah.
I can't realize that I had forgotten forgotten a lot of things. 20 years later, it was long. And I started to say, you know what, maybe there is no book.
Maybe there's no story.
Maybe there is no story. It has been long. And it was hard to start. Because, when you write under an inspiration,
Yeah.
you can't just sit down and write a book or write a story.
True.
You have to be inspired.
You have to.
So I was waiting for that
Inspiration,
moment,
yeah.
and it wasn't coming.
Wow.
But I can say the decision to write a book
Yeah.
came in my story that I wrote in part 2, When Abroad Feels Far from Home.
Yeah.
Because, there is something very bad. We back home, we go through a lot.
I am.
You go through a lot to the point you start to think that is normal. And you started to normalize it.
Yeah.
And
Even though
you say, okay, I'm
no-
going through this, but I am not alone. And there is nothing I can do. There is nothing to do. I have to this is my...
It's accepted.
Yeah, I have to accept it. And I had somehow accepted it. And I said, no story. There is no point of writing a story. Anyway, has been too long. But in the part 2, as I said,
Yeah.
it was the time I thought I was over the past, and everyone else was living their life, a beautiful life. Everything was good, and I thought it was going to be the same as everyone for me, but it wasn't. So when it wasn't, it felt not fair, and I said, I was frustrated by the life I was living that time, every day. And that is how I said, I needed to write this story.
What type of life were you living? Just in a simple...
In a simple,
Yeah.
it is reflected in the title, A Struggling Immigrant. I was a struggling immigrant.
Yeah.
But it was more than just being a struggling immigrant, because many immigrants out here struggle
Yeah.
during their first years. But mine was a little bit more than just
an immigrant struggle.
exact.
What made
And I don't want to talk about that
sure.
because I want people
to read it? Exactly.
know why what I am talking about.
Read the book to find out why.
Yes.
So this is a deeply personal book, as people can tell already. What made you or gave you the ability to, or what's the secret to navigating writing such a deeply personal book? Like, how did you navigate it? Because I'm sure maybe you would write, memories come up, and it's very tough to go through the past. So how did you navigate that writing process?
You know what? I would be lying to you if I said it was easy. It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
Given that the sensitivity, the sensitive character of what I was writing about. You know, I am a genocide survivor. That itself can explain how it wasn't easy. Yeah, there were times I stopped writing and I cried. I am not gonna lie.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
And I cried. But also, you noticed even when I write about something sad, I try to incorporate some humor.
I saw that. Yeah, that's true.
And that helped.
I'm sure. Yeah.
That helped.
Yeah.
I would cry, but then laugh a little bit. It helped.
Yeah.
But you know what? Yeah, it wasn't easy, but I felt like I owed my children, my grandchildren, and great-grandchildren to know my story.
Oh, yeah.
To read about what I went through, and to the world.
Yes.
To know what went wrong, what can be changed.
Yes.
And also, if I talk about, if I can say, especially to the immigrants, to the refugees, go through what I went through to learn from my mistakes so that they won't repeat my mistakes.
Right.
Because I cannot only blame people to be responsible for what happened to me. There were mistakes from my part too.
Yeah.
And if I had to go back, I could change a lot. I don't think I would go through what I went through if I knew what I know now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very good, and thank you for sharing and helping other people.
Thank you.
To know how to navigate life, because immigrant life is not easy.
It is not.
Yeah.
It is not. It can be okay.
If you know.
Sometimes it can be bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be hard. It's difficult. It's not. It doesn't mean that everyone goes through the same.
Yeah. It's
I'm not gonna say that. No. But sometimes, there's,
Okay.
Yeah.
So as a reader, I'm curious, from the author's perspective, what's your favorite part of the book? Or which part of the book had the most impact on you as you were writing? Which one affected you the most? Which part?
Oh my. I know my answer will not be satisfactory.
I just want to know.
Because I would say every part of my book, from the introduction to the epilogue.
So that's how deeply in love you are with the book.
But I know you won't take that answer, so I'm gonna try.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's say the chapter, I think it's chapter 9.
Chapter 9?
Chapter 9. Yeah, the table of contents is hiding somehow. I don't like that.
Oh,
They would have put it on the first or second page. Wow,
Oh,
where's it?
right. Chapter 9 says exactly as it's totally unexpected.
Exact. Totally unexpected.
It's totally unexpected that the title of the chapter is totally.
Exactly. It talks by itself.
It does.
Totally unexpected is a chapter where I experienced some truth that I wasn't aware about,
Wow.
and some disappointment,
Yeah.
a deep disappointment, and some realities that changed the way I was thinking that time. So yeah, I can say that that is a very important chapter to me, that like had a negative impact,
But nonetheless, a big impact.
a big impact.
Yeah. Wow.
Another chapter I can say, chapter 13 and chapter 14, they are short but almost similar chapters. I think it's 13 is a struggling immigrant.
Wow, you're so good.
Yeah.
It's like you know the book in and out.
Oh, I know my book.
That's
Believe
good.
me, I wrote it from A to Z.
That's very good.
And so it's a struggling immigrant, and
Chapter 14.
chapter 14 is my immigration hearing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was just waiting to see if you get it right.
You are so bad, right? Didn't you? You mind me.
No, I want to show the people that you know your book. And you do. This is a lesson.
Yeah. So in those chapters, I think those chapters they had an impact on me, given they are the heart of the story written in part 2. So yeah.
Okay.
And let's say but in a chapter in the first part, there is a chapter that is it chapter 11? What is it? What does it say? Chapter 11.
Chapter 11? Chapter 11 says nowhere to belong.
Nowhere to belong.
Mhm.
Yeah, that chapter also, I can say it is the heart of the
Part 1.
part 1.
Okay.
Yeah, because that is where you can find the linkage between my story and my subtitle, When Home Doesn't Feel Like Home.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And what else? Chapter 17.
Chapter 17 says the Honorable
Brian Massey. That is a small chapter,
Okay.
but that has a big impact on my life until now. Without the story I wrote in that chapter, I wouldn't be here telling you this story. So that is a very important chapter to me. I think those are what I can mention, but to be honest,
Every part.
every part of my book is has a lot. It means a lot to me.
So you share your favorite parts of the book, and what's most had the most profound impact on your life. I was actually curious about chapter 17. I think I'm gonna read it.
Oh
See
yeah,
what it says.
no. Read from start by 1, 2, 3.
Oh, in order.
5.
Okay.
Please,
No
in
jump.
order. Don't jump.
Okay. Thanks for the advice, because I was gonna jump straight to it. So curious, how do you hope this book will help educate people on what happened during or around the Rwandan genocide? What's your hope?
I don't think I have high hopes in that.
Okay. Why is that?
Because saying that educating people around about the Rwandan genocide, we are now at after 30 years, right?
We should know, right?
So
Yeah.
people who wanted to know, I think they know a lot. There were movies, there were stories,
Yeah.
but I will tell you something that a comment, a feedback of one of my readers
Oh.
can help me answering your question. Actually,
Okay.
It was a professor, a university professor, who read my book, and he told me, you know what? Writing your book 25 or more years after the genocide,
Yeah.
you wrote about the truth that writers who wrote their books right after the genocide didn't know.
Oh, because it wasn't.
Because it
yet.
was,
Okay.
they wrote about, first of all, they wrote under emotions after the genocide.
Yeah.
And they wrote what they were told without verifying it, without
Research.
there was not enough time to know
Right.
what was the reality behind everything that was being done.
Yeah.
So he said, your book is the only one so far that addresses the truth that was not captured in other books.
Wow.
So, yeah,
Interesting.
it is.
Very. You guys should read this book. It's amazing. And then you seem to believe in the power of story, because you could have written, facts about what happened, but you chose to just tell your story. What do you believe is the impact of storytelling when it comes to healing, especially after traumatic events like the genocide?
Maybe I will avoid using that verb, healing,
Oh, okay.
because there is nothing that can heal a genocide survivor.
Interesting.
Nothing.
Where do you say that?
But because, honestly, in Rwanda, there are many people who were left alone. You are in a family of 6, of 8, of 10 even, and you are left alone.
Yeah.
And most of the time, they have wounds.
Yeah.
They are alone, and they were left with defects.
Yeah.
So tell me, you are disabled. Tell me how you can heal someone like that.
That makes sense now.
Yeah, but having said that, it helps. It helps to hear what others went through when you are a genocide survivor. Sometimes, we help. We have commemorations every year, and sometimes I hear stories, testimonies of genocide survivors. And I am like, wow. And I say, why did I even write a book? Because I didn't have a story. I mean, that is how much hearing other stories helped you realizing that you are not alone.
You're not alone, yeah.
And it could have been worse. So it helps. It helps you to know that whatever you went through, there is someone else who went through much more.
Much more.
And they are there. They are, they're
grateful.
They are trying to live.
Yeah.
They are there. And, they are grateful.
Wow.
So, yeah,
I'm sure
it helps.
It's encouraging too. Because you feel connected to your community of people. It's not just you alone.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
And I believe that's what this book does too. Because as people read, they can see themselves in some chapters. They can relate and say, okay, wow.
Many people they call me.
Yeah.
Many of my readers have called me, and we have spent hours.
Wow.
Just talking about my book. They tell me about my story.
It must feel good, right?
They forgot that I am the writer of the story.
Hey, let me tell you what I read. I know. It was
just telling me their own stories that are exactly the same as mine. They are comparing. And it makes me feel so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. And it is surprising. It can be surprising to some people because maybe people would think that it's only my Rwandan community who
reads the book,
who likes the story, but no. Oh, even people who were born here,
okay,
they have given me a very nice feedback. There was this woman. She is my former coworker, and she told me, you know what? I read your story, your book, maybe because I know you, because this is not the genre of books I read.
Okay.
But I read it anyways. And I was surprised that I loved it. And I said, okay, tell me more. Why were you surprised? She said, because, as I said, it's not the genre of books I like.
I read, yeah.
But when I read your book, she said, you didn't write under emotions.
Wow.
And I felt a little bit, I was like, what do you mean? Do you mean that? I didn't know what she meant.
Yeah.
Because I said, how come?
Yeah.
I had a lot of emotions in my book. And I said, can you explain why you are saying that? She said, I always read a lot of stories from third world countries. And she says, when you read other stories, it's hard to believe that there is no exaggeration. But when I read your book, she said, when one reads your book, they know it's your story, nothing more, nothing less. You just told your story, and I loved it. So yeah, it was a very unique feedback that I had never received from anyone else.
Wow.
Yeah.
And to be honest, as an author, that's the most fulfilling feedback you can receive, because it means you've done a good job.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is amazing. I can't wait to finish reading the book, and I can't wait for the audience to actually read the whole book. I'm curious though. Do you have any future projects in mind?
To be honest, writing a book's fun.
Yeah.
What is not fun is marketing a book.
Oh, okay.
I am now struggling, trying hard to market my book, because, when you write your story, you want people to read it.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah, it's not about money. It's not about
sharing
money.
The story.
Because if really you wanted to get the money invested in a book, you will never write.
True.
If you wanted to make money from a book, you will not write. So, but when you write, you want people to read your story.
Yeah.
So I am working hard at this. From this moment, I am working hard to market it. What we are doing right now.
That's right.
But also, many people have asked me why I don't have an audiobook. So my next project is
the audiobook.
The audiobook.
Wow.
I keep changing my priorities though, so don't blame me on that if I don't respect what I said. If tomorrow I tell you something different,
No, we'll make sure it happens.
yeah, please help. But also, many people, French speaking, have asked me why I don't tell
Translate it to
French.
French. I think that would be good. That would be amazing.
Oh yeah. So yeah, some people also ask me if I will ever translate it in Kinyarwanda.
That would be
But
amazing.
yeah,
It would be challenging.
I know, but it's challenging, and I don't know if there is a lot of value added.
Oh, I see.
Because I think the category of Rwandans who read, who have time to read, and who have money to buy a book, they can either read French or English. So
How about audio Kinyarwanda?
audio Kinyarwanda,
Interesting, right?
interesting.
Because nobody can say no to that.
Yeah, but the access
Oh,
is it can be a problem in Rwanda.
true.
And also, I come from a country where they love only books that talk about the greatness
right.
of Rwandan president, Rwandan regime today. And I didn't talk about that. So
You just talked about your story.
I don't really know if they will welcome my book in there. So yeah, but yeah, those are two projects that are on my mind for now.
Okay, sounds good. So as we close, this is the book, The Terrible Truth About the Truth, a story of a Tutsi Rwandan survivor. When home doesn't feel
Rwandan genocide. Okay, Tutsi Rwandan genocide
survivor. When home doesn't feel like home, and when abroad feels far from home. I made sure to read everything.
Thank you.
What's the main
It's a
message?
great job this time.
Thank you. What's the main message or takeaway from the book? What's the main takeaway? What should people take away from the book? Or what will they take away from the book?
Oh, a lot.
A lot. Wow.
But maybe I can say, I wanted to tell everyone that there is a quote that I wrote. It's my quote that I said, the most important thing in your life is life itself. So as long as you are healthy,
Yeah.
as long as you are living, there is nothing impossible.
Interesting.
And to my younger readers, but to everyone else too,
Yeah.
I would like to ask them to appreciate what they have and to never, ever take anything for granted.
Yeah.
And to my immigrant readers, I would tell them to read my book. I mean, I would invite them to read my whole book,
Entire book.
from A to Z, so that they learn from my mistakes,
Yeah.
so that they don't repeat what I did wrong. So it will help them, and I guarantee them, they will see a light at the end of the tunnel.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what I can tell my readers.
That's encouraging. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So now we want to buy the book. Where can we get the book?
Oh, your best bet,
Uh-huh.
or everyone's best bet, will be Amazon.
Amazon. So
Amazon.
go to Amazon.
So Amazon. Yeah, but in Europe, there are some countries that I heard they are having difficulties getting it. Like, I think it is found on Amazon Belgique, but or UK.
Amazon does.
So those
UK.
in Europe, if you don't find it on Amazon Belgique, please go on Amazon UK.
Okay.
And you will find it. The Terrible Truth About the Truth by Emma K. Yeah, so it is a beautiful yellow and what?
Yellow and blue
And a blue.
ish.
Yeah, the most beautiful
Ocean.
book you will find on Amazon will be my book.
That's it. Amazing. Well, I think this was amazing. Is there anything else you'd like to share? I think
You know what? I think there will be next time. I will just thank you for this opportunity. Really, thank you very much. And I thank you everyone who will take time to listen to our interview. And mostly those one who will go on Amazon and buy my book.
amazing.
When I think about my childhood, I always remember how I was content with the little I had. And that makes me wonder why children today don't seem happy despite all the advantages they have. My experience with my grandparents is one of the many childhood stories I talk about when I chat with my daughter, and she listens with interest and asks me a million questions. When she asked me what I considered important for my children as a mother, I told her family unity is the first thing I wish for her and her sisters. The second I wish for them is to never, ever take anything for granted.